Hi, Abraham. I want to understand life expectancy. Like in our beasts, we have an old dog who I'm watching age and become a bit feeble. And my own sense of aging, and I know it's an upstream thought, but it's disturbing to watch the physical forms age and seemingly become decrepit and unable to function anymore. And I want to understand why. I mean, in my questioning of wanting to stay young and not experience the aging process, and my understanding that thought creates it all, can we stop the aging of our body? Or
if you can stop watching television and think thoughts that are different from what your mass consciousness is thinking, you can be an exception to what they've got going on, but you can't control what they've got going on. In other words, you can't create in another's reality. You can only create in your own reality.
Right.
But you can create differently from the masses that surround you. Now, your beasts, we like that you brought them into it, because your beasts are a very good example. If your beast were not domesticated and had not been socialized by you and had not come to care about what you think, your beast would not have lived long enough for you to see decline, because it isn't your beast's wish. And the animals understand that they can come into a body and they regain full maturity very rapidly, and so they don't mind coming and going and coming and going and coming and going. In fact, they prefer those frisky bodies. It's why very often one of them will just run right out in front of your car because it says ready for a new one. And easy come, easy go. But when an animal or a human gets attached to your attachment to them, now their own intentionality gets sort of watered down, and sometimes they'll serve you in hanging around beyond what they would choose if they were completely tuned in, tapped in, turned on. So we've said for a long time that the domesticated animals begin to act more like humans. You don't find old, decrepit, declining wolves in the wild. They just don't do it. You think they're all at the prime of their life, because they come to the prime of their life quickly, and they live in the prime of their life, and when the prime of their life is past, they go off into the bushes and they go to sleep. They don't even have to get run over by a truck or anything. They can withdraw their consciousness from this apparatus because they have no discomfort about the coming and going of consciousness into the physical. So there is an important distinction between what you are calling aging and what we are hearing as declining, because you cannot stay young because you must move through time, but you can stay in your prime by controlling the direction of your thoughts. In other words, you do not have to decline. Esther saw the turning point in her father. There was a very short period of time before they made arrangements for some in-home care for Esther's parents, where they spent a very short period of time in a facility where others tended to some of their needs. And they were very unhappy there, and they were not there very long. But Esther visited them shortly after they returned to their home. And Esther's father said, "I didn't like it there because it makes you wonder where you're going." And Esther saw that turn within him. He lost his hope for his recovery because there's so much rampant belief in decline, and it was so in his face, and he felt so on the brink that he was never able to recover in his thought. There isn't anything wrong with declining to die. In other words, many people, because they don't understand death and they don't trust in their eternalness, they put off dying because they're afraid of it. They're not really enjoying life, and they're afraid of death. Talk about upstream, 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 and that's what the reason for the decline is. In other words, the longer they live, the more they want, the faster the stream goes. The longer they live, the ornerier they get, the more they watch decline in others, the more they worry about things, and so they make their stream go faster and they resist it more. And that is what is responsible for the dramatic illnesses that you see in people. An unwillingness to let people die. It is just incredible. Your human unwillingness to let people die, so much so that when someone wants to facilitate someone who wants to die, they put him in jail.
Yeah.
Your inability to understand that you are eternal beings, and coupled with your fear of death, has put you in the position where you have no choice but to decline before you give yourself permission to die.
So it is a thought. It's the thoughts that create the decline.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
But it isn't thought about decline necessarily. It's any fearful thought, any upstream thought is responsible for your decline. So being mad at somebody at work is responsible for a partial decline. Remembering something from your youth that you're embarrassed about is responsible for part of your decline. And that's where the beasts have it over on you. They live more in the moment. They don't remember all of that stuff. They don't carry grudges. They don't worry about things. They don't worry about the future. They don't fret over the past. They're more content in their now. And so their decline is inspired by their association with humans who they witness declining. So what to do about it? How do I move gracefully through time? By finding more in your now that you love, by appreciating more, by looking for more reasons to feel good, by acknowledging that there is no death, by not resisting the idea of dying. And we know you love your beasts. They are so easy to love, and you don't want them to die because you will temporarily miss them. One woman was so overwrought with sadness over the death of her beast, and when we encouraged her to get another one, she was beside herself. She couldn't believe that we would suggest such a thing. Why would you suggest that I fall in love with somebody else that's going to leave me too? I can't stand this pain. And we say, in the moment that you give your undivided attention to your new puppy, the pain will go away. You cannot focus on something that makes you feel awful and something that makes you feel wonderful at the same time. Just get off of it. And so if you really want to be a friend to your human friends or your beast friends, tell them and mean it. Stay if you like and go if you like, but don't let me interfere with your decisions about this. And then practice that vibration so that you offer it consistently, and what you'll notice is you'll have more pets that will leave in the prime of their life. And humans say, oh, that's a tragedy for someone to leave in the prime of their life. Hear the absurdity of this. Humans say this all the time. To die in the prime of your life, what a waste, when they could have stayed and suffered it out.
Like our parents.
So your entire medicine has moved toward, they call it prevention, but what they mean is preventing death. And so they don't mean maintaining joy. They don't mean maintaining well-being. They don't mean living vitally. They mean finding a way to embalm you before you die. Just keeping you alive with whatever machines and mechanisms that we need, because life is what matters. And we say, no, joy is what matters. Life is eternal. And any moment that you're spent not in the peak of your life, we'd move on. Don't go jump off buildings. Or do, whatever.
Okay.
But understand that you are eternal beings and that you need not ever decline. You need not ever decline. The universe is not set up for decline. The universe is set up for expansion. So we'll tell you the story again. You are source energy. You project yourself into this fresh, frisky body. Your fresh, frisky body has fresh, frisky experiences. You launch powerful ideas of improvement, and the source energy part of you says, yes, this is me. I am this. This is the vibration of me. This is the point of me that law of attraction will come to, and I'll call the rest of me to it because it is so very much fun to be here. And it's an eternal cycle. And in any moment that there is a diminishment of that joy, it's because the human form has pinched itself off. So we're talking theory here, and then we'll talk fact as more of you catch on to it and begin demonstrating it. You could be in a physical body, lapping up life, giving birth to new ideas, turning your undivided attention, and by undivided we mean you in your physical form, your non-physical part's already turned its undivided attention toward it, undivided attention toward this pure positive energy idea, life-giving idea, and if you keep doing that, you could theoretically continue to be reborn here in this physical body, because new cells are born every day, new chemical factory is happening every day. You could stay in your body. So then you say, well, then why don't we? And we say, because it's so fun to be new and frisky. It's hard for you to be in this body for long periods of time without beginning to act like the rest of them. Without facing reality, and then ending up focusing upon something that does not serve you, but doing it because it's just been there for so long, you're just used to doing it. So it really is just easier to come with a fresh point of view. It's just easier. And really, in the long run, much, much, much more satisfying. And it's only those of you who have suffered and brought yourself out of suffering, who have been without and have brought yourself into having things, that want to hold to this particular experience. Esther says on a regular basis, life is so good, let's just hang on to this really for a long, long time. In other words, how wonderful this life is. Let's just milk it for everything that it's worth. And we say, milk it for everything that it's worth, but don't feel that leaving it is the lack of anything, because you are eternal beings, and next time around will be as wonderful, and the next time around will be as wonderful. No, the next time around will be more wonderful, because it's always more, you see.
Thank you.
We are.